This attack on crypto is really heating up now. I mean, after all, they've gone for the two biggest exchanges. They've cut off the lifeline, which is the banking. They've cut off all the on-ramps and off-ramps to get money into crypto. They're going after some of our biggest protocols. And what it feels like this time is that this time, crypto is really going to die. Now, we've heard in the past that crypto is going to die, but this time it seems pretty serious. In fact, everybody is actually chiming into this discussion. I don't know if you saw this article over here, but it says now might be a good time to quitting crypto. It's not only them, it's some of the biggest VCs in the world. You got 𝗙𝗵𝗵𝗆 saying crypto is dead in America. And then you've got Jason Calacanis, who's another very big VC, saying, if you're in crypto, pivot to AI. So this is one of the biggest attacks on crypto. I won't lie to you. I've been here since 2015. I've never experienced such a coordinated big attack by such big bodies like the SEC, the US government, and a whole lot of other big bodies against crypto. And a lot of times I've actually questioned whether or not this is finally the end of crypto. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. And we're also going to look at Binance. We're going to look at them stopping withdrawals. I think it's another big topic that we need to dig into today, because if you do have money on Binance.US, probably it's time to get your money out. So listen, it's Friday. Usually we do a banter, but today we're not going to do a banter because there's so much that needs to be discussed that I think we'll just do a normal show. So let's get going. All right, we're back. Friday. Usually we do banters, but so much going on today. And also what I want to do today is I want to do a call-in show. I want you guys to actually call into the show and come and chat with me about how you're feeling about the end of crypto. So what we'll do is later on in the show, in the description and on my Twitter, we'll post the link. And you guys, if you're in front of a camera, you got to be in front of a camera. We've got to see your face. And if you want to jump up and if you want to have a chat about how you're feeling about whether crypto is going to die or whether crypto is going to make it, then jump in. It's your show. It's a different kind of Friday banter. And it is brought to you as well by our sponsor, which is NordVPN. And we'll talk about what the benefits of NordVPN are a bit later in the show. So listen, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel. If you are already a subscriber, you know what to do. Stop commenting about my shirt, guys. From the 𝗏𝗏𝗃 collection. Come on, from the 𝗏𝗏𝗃 collection. That's a low blow. That's a low blow. Someone says lose the sweater. It's distracting. Live a little, guys. Live a little. Live a little. Live a little. All right, let's go. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of the show. It is getting a little bit heated out there, but the price of Bitcoin actually isn't really moving that much. We're still at 26,721. We're moving back towards the 27,000. And that should give you a clue about what the show is actually about today, because there are a lot of people talking about crypto and how crypto is dead. And this time it does feel like crypto is actually dead. This is by far the biggest coordinated attack against crypto. We've seen attacks against crypto. We saw China ban mining. We saw China ban crypto trading. We saw India ban crypto. We saw the US becoming hostile to crypto. We've seen many attacks in the life of crypto, but none of them have been as big and as coordinated and by such big bodies as the one we're facing now. This one is an all-out assault. First, they cut off the banking channels. They cut off Silvergate Bank. They cut off Silicon Valley Bank. They cut off all the crypto banks. Then what did they do from there? They went for the exchanges. They went for the two biggest exchanges in the world. They went for Binance and they went for Coinbase. That's not a coincidence, because between Binance and Coinbase, you probably got 60 to 70% of the spot volume in the whole world. In the charges against Binance and Coinbase, they also went after our favorite protocols. They went after Solana. They went after Matic. They went after a whole list of different protocols. This is a serious attack. This is a coordinated attack. And it does feel like this time they're throwing all their firepower against us. And that this time they may actually win, and they may actually kill crypto. That's how it feels. And I know this because a lot of people are reaching out to me every single day. And it's as if it's not enough that we've lost interest in crypto. People have lost interest in crypto. Now people are actually making crypto radioactive. They're starting to feel as if crypto is radioactive. It's like, Do I sell this thing and get out before they declare everything a security, before they shut my favorite exchange, before they halt withdrawals on my favorite exchange? Those are the questions that people are asking. But I'll tell you this, even though I haven't seen an attack this big on crypto, I have seen multiple attacks on crypto. And the one thing that stands out every time is that when people are declaring crypto dead, that is the best time to buy. And right now, we are in exactly that part in the market. I mean, I saw this morning. Now might be a good time to consider quitting crypto. Do you want me to just give you a little anecdote here? Vox is the same publication that Sam Bankman-Fried actually invested in. I don't know if you guys remember, but in all the FTX drama, this was a thing. Someone says gay sweater. Man. Okay. Then you've got Chamath saying crypto is dead in America. Then you've got Jason Calacanis, who is a very big VC in Silicon Valley. And he's saying, if you're in crypto, pivot to AI. I mean, what kind of VC says that? What kind of VC just says, hey, if you're in crypto and you believe in the freedom of blockchain and you're here because you really believe in the tech, well, go to AI. No, I'm here because I believe in the tech. I'm here because I believe this thing can work. I don't know anything about AI. I am learning about AI because 𝗲𝗍𝗍𝗃 is teaching me a lot about AI in his new series, but you don't just pivot to AI. And it's not the first time that we've seen it. In fact, if you look, this is the articles that were written around crypto's downfall. And if you look at the dates, November 19th, 2022, just after Sam Bankman-Fried, then here you've got the New York Times on the December 12th, 2022, the end, basically all implying that this is the end of crypto. But the truth is that every time they do that, it seems that the prices just go up. I mean, if you look at the returns that you would have got had you sold when the mainstream media and the naysayers were calling for the end of crypto, you would have sold, yeah. Today, Bitcoin's 60% higher, and actually it's been up over 100%. So generally, when I see these articles, I say to myself, it's probably buy time. And it's not, I mean, look at this. This is in 2019 when they said it's crypto is pretty much dead. Bitcoin will go to zero. Davos talks up the future of blockchain and tech. This is 23rd of January, 2019. If you would have sold when they called for the end of crypto, when they said that crypto was guzzling electricity and it was the end of Bitcoin and crypto, you would have missed out on possibly 300% returns. And the reason why this happens is because mainstream media rely on headlines. And the headlines rely on what the mainstream is feeling. And that's actually why I used the thumbnail that I used up here today. You know that I don't believe that crypto is dead, right? You know that. But if I want to get people to watch something, or if I want to get people to read my article, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play into the biggest question of the day. And I bet you that you woke up this morning and you thought to yourself, is my crypto portfolio actually going to survive? Is there going to be another attack on Solana? Is this space going to survive? And if you did, well, you're probably right, but you're also probably part of retail investing. And what we did when we used this thumbnail was exactly what the mainstream media do to get you to click their articles. What are mainstream media trying to do? Mainstream media are trying to get you to click their articles. If they would have written an article today about how powerful the market or how many daily active users Solana has, would you have opened that article? Absolutely not, because it's not playing into your emotions. So they are taking your emotions and they are playing into your emotions, and that is what is getting you to read the articles. In the bear market, what do? They give you articles like crypto is dead or the end of crypto, specifically on days like this when people are panicking. In the bull market, when everything's flying, the articles are the exact opposite. Crypto will take over the world, because that is what you're going to click. And the reality is that is the mentality of the masses. And if you follow the mentality of the masses, then you are selling the bottom and you are buying the top. But if you do the opposite of what the masses are doing and the opposite of what mainstream media specifically is telling you to do, that has been a strategy that has generated returns 10 out of 10 times. Let me show you a few more examples. In fact, there's a whole website called Bitcoin Obituaries. It's 99bitcoins.com/Bitcoin Obituaries. All these red dots show when Bitcoin has been declared dead. And you can see that The most recent death was on April 2023 when they said crypto is dead in America. Before that, on the first time Bitcoin died actually was in December 15th, 2010. And it said, why Bitcoin can't be a currency. Bitcoin died 7 times in 2023. Let's quickly look at some of the articles. Crypto is dead in America. Sayonara Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a joke wrapped in a fraud, and so on. And every single time that they have declared Bitcoin dead, the prices just continued to go up and up and up. We kept doing these analyses. We looked today. We sent our analysts on this rampage today, and I said, then go and look up the keywords Bitcoin dead, end of Bitcoin, end of crypto. And every time they did that, what we realized is that there were life-changing returns to be made after that period. Here it is, 300% if you would have invested here, 100% if you would have invested just after FTX. Let's go back to the obituaries and just look at some of the obituaries. Let's look at the last. Let's go look at year to date. We had obituaries. Crypto is one big hustle. We had Bitcoin will go negative at 16,000. Bitcoin is a hyped up fraud. We had Bitcoin is the greatest Ponzi scheme of all time, and every single one of those we are higher than when the article actually came out. So yes, I'm glad Joe the Irishman, who's one of our researchers, actually he made his own chart now so that he could start seeing this, and he put all these things. Jim Cramer, I've had it with Soldano, Jason Calacanis, pivot to AI, because this time is no different. As I said to you yesterday, the egg has been unscrambled. You cannot scramble the egg again. The genie's out of the bottle, and we know what the benefits of this technology are. Now, yes, there's going to be hurdles, and we're facing probably the biggest fight that I've ever seen crypto have to face. But we've also got the biggest fighters who are fighting on our behalf. You've got Binance fighting. It's going to be a dirty fight, but Binance has got a lot of money to fight the regulatory agencies. Then you got Coinbase. We've also got a lot of money to fight the regulatory agencies. We know that. We spoke about that yesterday. So we have the biggest fight, but we also have the biggest fighters fighting that fight, right? Which is exactly where you want to be. So here's where the fight is right now. We've got the DOJ action against 𝗙𝗵𝗄 potentially incoming. Prime Trust about to go bankrupt. We will talk about that on the show today. I've got some scoop for you here. The US government has more Bitcoin to sell. We know that. But hold on a second. I'm just thinking. If the US government drives the price of Bitcoin down, then they're driving the price of their own holdings down too, right? They should probably sell. They should probably wait for a pump, or they should pump it before they sell. Mt. Gox sell pressure coming, and everything else that is going to happen. So there's a big fight ahead of us in a period where right now there's no interest in crypto. But I've seen this before, and as hard as it was for me, and as hard as it is for me, I woke up this morning and I bought more crypto. I literally sat in front of my portfolio and I landed up. It was the most uncomfortable thing that I've done in a long time, because of course I'm worried. Of course I'm worried that all of a sudden in 5 or 6 or 7 years, when this all plays out, they will deem Solana to be a security, or Cardano to be a security, because then the use cases that we have are not viable. Because, okay, let's say they make Solana a security, and they say, okay, Coinbase, you're actually a registered securities selling exchange. Okay, so now everything is security, and the exchanges are licensed to sell securities. You won't be able to use the blockchain to actually pay the gas fees. So it doesn't. So the whole model actually falls apart. So of course I'm worried about that, and there's of course a risk that we don't get the rulings that we want. But I do think that ultimately the technology is going to win, and it's going to win not only because it's great technology, but also because a lot of jurisdictions outside the USA are taking advantage of what the USA is doing, and they're not going to do a U-turn. And we'll look at some of those jurisdictions. I mean, I saw articles like this, which are exactly the same as crypto being dead. It says crypto project should rethink tokens. Well, what is crypto without tokens? That's like having a car without wheels. How do you have crypto without blockchain without crypto? It's like a car, no wheels. So you have a car, but you don't have the wheels. So yes, we are being attacked. Yes, the attack is the biggest attack that we've had of all time. But I think it's going to be okay. I'm not telling you to invest more than you have. I'm not telling you to mortgage your car or your house or sell your kidneys or anything else. I'm saying that if you've had money on the sidelines and you wanted to deploy that money on the sidelines, now is when you should be doing it, because now we are at the peak of fear. The headlines are all about the end and the death of crypto. And historically, every time that's happened, it's been the best time. It's been the best time to be buying. Cool. So that is how I feel. But the war is heating up, I'll tell you that much. And as I said to you, I don't think that every fighter in this war is going to come out alive. And I said to you that one of the fighters that I don't think is going to come out alive is going to be Binance US. And I said to you, there's two ways that Binance US is going to come out of this. Either they're going to shut it down because they're going to shut it down, or they're going to shut it down as part of the negotiation with the regulators to say, you know what, we will pay you $1 billion fine or a $200 million fine, and we'll also shut down Binance US and we'll leave the US. That's what I thought would happen. I said to you yesterday. So we've had the next step in this. And the next step here is a message that was published by Binance last night in the US. And it says, the SEC has taken to using extremely aggressive and intimidating tactics in pursuit of an ideological campaign against the American digital asset industry. Binance US and our business partners have not been spared in the use of these tactics, which has created challenges for the banks with whom we work. As a result, in an effort to protect our customers and platform, today we are suspending USD deposits and notifying our customers that our banking partners are preparing to pause fiat withdrawal channels as early as June 13th, 2023. We encourage customers to take appropriate action with their USD. Our priority is and always has been our customers. We're taking these proactive steps as we, for a time, transition to becoming a crypto-only exchange. To be clear, we maintain one-to-one reserves for all customer assets. Any downtime in processing withdrawals may be the result of elevated volumes and weekend bank closures. Moreover, trading, staking, deposits, and withdrawals in crypto remain fully operational. While we remain open to a productive compromise that enables thriving digital asset marketplace in the US, Binance US will continue to vigorously defend ourselves, our customers, and the industry. What are they saying? If you read between the lines here, they're saying our banking partners are stopping US withdrawal, USD inflows and outflows. Okay, they're not saying they're shutting down the exchange, because they're not shutting down the exchange. They are just stopping taking US dollar deposits and processing US dollar withdrawals. Now, that's money withdrawals. It's not USDT or USDC or stable coins withdrawals. It's not Bitcoin withdrawals. You can continue to withdraw your stable coins or your Bitcoin, but you cannot use banking on-ramps and off-ramps. So what's going on behind the scenes here? Let me explain to you. I believe that their banking partners have either been warned by their compliance department or actually been warned through someone at the SEC or via someone at the SEC, or got a message to say, we believe that it is in your best interest, after reading the Binance charges, to not service them. Because remember, as a bank, you've got to make sure, your compliance has got to make sure that your clients are running legitimate operations. And a lot of banks don't actually even want to bank crypto companies. And so what it seems like here is that the bank who was taking a risk and actually was working with Binance, after reading the charges, obviously the compliance came to them and said, look, we've read the charges. We don't know if they're right or wrong, but just as a precaution, we want you to stop working with Binance. And so what effectively has happened is Binance has lost its fiat on-ramps and off-ramps. It continues, Binance.US, it continues to be a crypto exchange. Do we have a chart on the dashboard? I said DeFi Llama is broken. I'm trying to look at do we have any dashboards? Okay, so all the dashboards that show the amount of money in Binance.US are actually broken at the moment. It continues to be a fiat, a crypto exchange. Now, I never thought I'd ever say this about Binance, but get your money off Binance US. There's no upside here, because there is this pending case where the SEC has asked to freeze Binance US assets. And if that happens, then your assets are going to be frozen. And the problem is that what we know is that even if the US freezes your assets, it's going to take a long time to get your money back. Like with Bittrex filed for bankruptcy in the US, and now the US government is opposing a motion from Bittrex to return customer funds, at least for now. So what's the upside in actually having your money in Binance.US when you know this is going to happen? There's no upside. I mean, there's no real upside in keeping any of your money on exchanges unless you're actually there and you're actually trading. But if you're not there and you're not trading, then get your money off exchanges. And specifically the ones that are in the line of fire of the US regulators right now, You don't have to be a genius to work out that this is what's happening. Now, look, I believe Binance is going to continue to fight. I have no doubt that Binance is going to continue to fight. In fact, I don't really believe much of what BitBoy says, but I do believe that Binance do have a lot of money to fight the SEC. Now, they say, or BitBoy says, it's about $1 billion that they've put aside to fight the SEC. And it probably, that number actually could be pretty good, pretty correct. But is that a big number? Well, let's think about it. Let's look at Binance's actual numbers, right? So if you look at the numbers, and we got this from CryptoQuant, he says, Binance is the clear winner in the race. Its annual revenue grew 10x over the past 2 years to around $12 billion in 2022. So they made a revenue of $12 billion in 2022. Now, of that, you'd imagine that they made a couple of billion in profit. Maybe they made $4 or $5 billion in profit. You could probably do the calculation by working out the Binance, the BNB burns. But does anyone have a number of how much money Binance made last year? Let's work out how much money Binance made last year. And if you know, put it in the comments. But they do have a lot of money. They have billions and billions and billions of dollars to actually fight the SEC. Now, let's get some perspective here. The SEC's fight against Ripple has spent $150 to $200 million on the fight. This is going to be a much bigger, much harder fight. Maybe twice as big, maybe even 3 times as big. That means Binance is probably pretty well capitalized to have the best lawyers in the world fighting the SEC. And hold on, if you were the SEC, you've now got another fight. You've got the fight against Coinbase. And I showed you that Coinbase have got $5 billion in cash. I don't think they're going to spend it all fighting the SEC, but it's like this time you've picked the fight with 2 of the biggest guys in the bar. Now let's see how. So someone says they made 1.8 billion last year. So you take 1 year's profits, half a year's profits, and you use that to fight the SEC. The price is that if you win, you set legal precedent, you clear your name, and you can operate in the United States. Although I don't think that Binance U.S. survives this. I think it gets bought out. I think it gets bought out for pennies on the dollar. That's what I think lands up happening. So that's the story in the US. You've got Binance, you've got Coinbase, another blow to Coinbase yesterday. Let me quickly just find the blow for Coinbase yesterday. I'm actually looking at their share price. Their share price is actually doing quite well. It's $55. I actually bought mine at $50 or $51 or something, which is good. But you've got Coinbase going up. But I showed you yesterday that the price of Coinbase debt has gone down. The yield on Coinbase debt has gone to 14.3%, and that's relative to junk bonds, which are 8.12%. The reason is because the market doesn't believe that there's a higher risk that Coinbase won't be able to service its debt while it is fighting the SEC. Because as I said to you yesterday, the SEC choke its banks, so people can't put money in. They take away the coins by declaring them securities, so people don't trade them and there's no trading revenue. And they FUD cryptos, so people want to get out of crypto, and then Coinbase doesn't get any more revenue. And then Coinbase doesn't have enough money to actually pay its debts. And therefore, what's happening now, another big blow to Coinbase, is that Moody's, which is a rating agency, warns that Coinbase faces serious consequences. Okay, and says that it slashed Coinbase's outlook to negative from stable. So, I mean, for those of you who don't know, Moody's, S&P, what do? They are basically paid. So get this, it's actually quite weird. Like the company pays them to come in and rate them. So if you're Coinbase, you pay Moody's to come in and rate you and to keep your rating current. Okay, so they rate you. Let's say they'll rate you AAA or AA or BB or whatever it is. Now, this rating agency, these ratings are how people evaluate your debt. And now with Coinbase, what's actually happened is they've evaluated the debt and they've said, you know what, because you're going into a fight with the SEC, your debt has now actually become negative from stable. So it's a bad rating. What does that do? It makes your debt cheaper, and it makes you have to increase the interest rates at which you finance. In other words, if Coinbase were to go to the market now and try to raise more debt, what they would have to do is they'd have to pay more than 14.34% per year. So there's an opportunity here, because if you believe that Coinbase is going to win this and service their debt or otherwise go insolvent, you can just buy their debt, and today you'll get a 14.34% return on just holding Coinbase debt. So there's always an opportunity. It just depends which side of the table you look at. There's always an opportunity. Another casualty, so to speak, of the United States, because now the United States is all out against crypto. Another casualty in the United States is stablecoins. And I think the mentality is exactly what 𝗙𝗿𝗵𝗃𝗰 is saying. He says, given the SEC's adamant attempt to not actively work with crypto companies, people are phoning me, to not actively work with crypto companies and the approval of freezing Binance U.S. assets, but there is no approval of freezing Binance assets yet. I'm becoming extremely concerned with regards to USDC, because USDC tried to be the good guys. And what happened? Well, the SEC said, oh, you're the good guys, you're regulated in the United States. Well, that's actually a disadvantage for you. So get this. USDT has never tried to be the good guys. And what's happened to the USDT business? Look at this. Exploded. You see the pink line is USDT. The blue line, who actually wants to be regulated in the United States, well, destroyed their business. So imagine the message that the US regulators are actually sending out the market. Get how dumb this message is, okay? If you want to be regulated and you want to do the right thing and you don't list a lot of shitcoins and you follow all the processes and you follow every single process and you spend a lot more money and at the expense of your profit, not only will you get penalized, but we'll penalize you even further. That's exactly what's happening here. So Coinbase always followed the letter of the law as they understood it. Binance, maybe not. And that's why Coinbase is much smaller than Binance. They didn't list as many shitcoins. They didn't take on as many customers. Binance didn't. Binance was free for all. When a shitcoin used to launch, first place it used to launch, Binance. Okay. Then, same thing with stablecoins. 𝗙𝗵𝗵𝗆, who's the founder of 𝗙𝗂𝗵𝗆, or the CEO of 𝗙𝗂𝗵𝗆, he's begging Congress to please regulate us. And while he's doing that, people are leaving his coin and saying, look, I mean, just look at the sad story of this coin. It was doing so well. I actually tipped USDC to become bigger than USDT. It got to a market cap of $55 billion, which was very, very, very close. Today, I look at the market cap, it's $28 billion. It's halved. Why has it halved? Okay. Why is it halved? Well, because I don't want to be involved in any company that's regulated in the United States. Not interested. Anyway, what's happening now is Patrick McHenry, who's a Republican, has just announced a full committee hearing scheduled for Tuesday, the 13th of June. And who's appearing there? 𝗙𝗵𝗵𝗆𝗃𝗏, 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗃 from 𝗵𝗵𝗲𝗃𝗏, from Avalanche. Okay, now look, great that they're taking steps. I'm not going to take that away from them. But we know what happens. It's a shit show. The senators all go there to try and get their 2 minutes on the mic. And nothing actually happens. I really want something to happen in the US. I'm really at the point now where I want something to happen in the US, because tell you what's happening everywhere else in the world. Forget about the US. Europe, fully regulated, or starting to be fully regulated. This time, CZ tweeted saying, look, we've got regulation here. There's dates. You've got Singapore. So Alex, who's the founder of Nansen, I don't know how to pronounce his surname, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 15 months to finally get a bank to accept us. Fast forward to today, the bank has set up their own crypto division, and we've been invited as a client. Banks have a choice, stay behind or join the future. Countries have a choice, stay behind or join the future. Hong Kong, who's regulated crypto, and if you watched my Hong Kong episode, you would know this. Hong Kong banks, get the wording here. Hong Kong banks must provide services to registered crypto firms. Must provide. Not should, not can, must provide. That is what the regulator is telling the Hong Kong regulator. So there is a fight. The fight is going to get hectic. It's going to get harder and harder and harder. But remember that outside of the US, there is pressure. Now, we are moving into an election year, and I said this to my team this morning. It feels really black now, but just look a little bit forward. And remember one thing. Next year in the US is an election year. In the United States, the Democrats and the Republicans don't beat each other by millions and millions and millions of votes. Usually the vote comes down to hundreds of thousands of votes, or maybe tens of thousands of votes. Do you remember in the last election how they were fighting for every single vote? Now, if you were the current administration and you knew that there was a crypto that a lot of people were into crypto, right? What would you do? Would you go against them and risk losing 100,000, 200,000, a million, 200,000, 2 million votes? Would you risk that? Or would you at some stage take your foot off the accelerator? And this is what I think is happening here. I think there's a little bit of a game of go being played here by the US. Why? Because I think they are far enough. The election is probably next year, November. And so they're far enough from the election to be taking action and trying to choke crypto and trying to turn the perception of crypto. So you'll see 𝗪𝗿 Gensler is coming out, and he is out on against crypto and trying to change the narrative around crypto. So listen to this.
Hucksters, fraudsters, scam artists, Ponzi schemes, the public being left in line at the bankruptcy courts. We've seen this story before.
Okay, let me go through this. Let's go through this step by step, and let's go through this really slowly, okay? First of all, if you're here and you're watching the show today, then consider yourself, as he says,
hucksters, fraudsters, scam artists, Ponzi scheme.
So you're a huckster, a Ponzi scheme guy, a scam artist. So if you're watching this, congratulations, welcome to ranks. But also he says,
the public being left in line at the bankruptcy court.
The public being left in line in the bankruptcy courts. Why are the public left in line in the bankruptcy courts? Because you didn't have regulation in place. Because if you did have regulation in place, the public wouldn't have had to go to offshore exchanges that were unregulated. So don't blame us, blame yourself. But the narrative here is far enough from the elections, for the US to be hitting crypto. But I think at some point they're going to take their foot off the gas here and say, remember, 1 in 4 households in the US has crypto. Now, if you have crypto, either you bought crypto because you want financial freedom, or you certainly don't want the value of your investment to go down. Now, what would you do if you were a voter and you had crypto and the value of your crypto was going down because the government, the current administration, was destroying your investment? What would you do? Well, would you run to the polls and vote for Joe Biden again? Or run to the polls and vote for 𝗪𝗿 Gensler's, the people that brought 𝗪𝗿 Gensler to you? No, you wouldn't. You go somewhere else, right? And that's exactly it. That's exactly it. So I think, bear in mind, there is an election coming up next year. And because there is an election coming up this year, then next year, I think they're going to take their foot off the gas. I also saw this. This is very, very interesting. So this guy's called Kenny. I don't know how true this is, but it seems pretty good. He says, the year before I was 𝗪𝗿 Gensler's teaching assistant for crypto finance and blockchain labs at MIT Sloan. I was a student in his class. So this guy was a teaching assistant for 𝗪𝗿 Gensler. And the year before that, he was a student in 𝗪𝗿 Gensler's class, and he wrote a report on BNB. That report, which Mr. Gensler sent to CZ Binance to read, inspired me to get more involved in crypto. 𝗪𝗿 Gensler's assistant was inspired to get into crypto, and 𝗪𝗿 Gensler sent a report which his assistant wrote to CZ about BNB. He says, it wasn't the report, but the interaction with Mr. Gensler and Mr. 𝗪𝗏. I felt an opportunity for the future of blockchain that was open to innovation from both the side of the regulator and the innovator. This was 2019. I didn't think I'd focus on Web3, and he carries on telling his story. He says, during summer 2019, when I interned in Shanghai, I'd meet up with Victor, Joe, and Weekend to hack on a project around decentralized ID. I remember calling Mr. Gensler halfway around the world to discuss these ideas, and we had thoughtful conversations. Meeting Mr. Gensler, hacking with Victor, getting recognized by Mr. 𝗪𝗏 all felt like winds of change, blah, blah. So he's saying that he was actually brainstorming with 𝗪𝗿 Gensler around crypto projects. This is the same 𝗪𝗿 Gensler who's now driving the political agenda. Crazy, right? Isn't that the most crazy thing you guys have ever seen? Don't all answer at once. All right, okay, so what I want to do now, I've got a little bit more alpha for you, but what I want you guys to do is I want you guys up here, if your cameras are on, and if you want to talk about how you're feeling this market, I want to get a sentiment check from our community. So there is a link in the description of the YouTube, a StreamYard link. Click it. You must have your camera on, and let's get the show on the road. I want you guys up here, and let's go. Also, if someone could drop it on my Twitter, Give it to Fred, drop it on my Twitter, @CryptoManRun, and let's go. In the meantime, let me give you guys another story, which is happening in crypto. We spoke about it yesterday, and we spoke about it a lot more on our Twitter Spaces, and we're going to speak about it again on our Twitter Spaces again today. Do not miss our Twitter Spaces. It is a story of a major Bitcoin custodian that is about to declare bankruptcy if they don't get a bailout. They need $25 million. Now, it is a custodian. It is a US-based custodian. It stores a whole lot of Bitcoin. It's where the exchanges run raiding his wife's closet. I mean, I get the message. 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 So the custodian is Prime Trust. Prime Trust is a big custodian in the US. In fact, these were all their clients, Binance U.S, Swan, OK, Dapper, but they seem to have lost a lot of clients because they've been in quite a bad, call it quite a bad, they've had a bad run. And this is kind of like who's left for Prime Trust. Now, what I'm hearing, and I don't know how true this is, so don't quote me on it. I'm hearing that they need $25 million. And if they don't get $25 million by Monday, they're going to have to file for bankruptcy. Also, I'm hearing a lot of stories about why they're going into bankruptcy. I'm not talking about it on the show. I'm talking about it on the Twitter Spaces. You'll jump on the Twitter Spaces and we'll talk about it on the Twitter Spaces just after. It's ironic because this same company raised money. Just listen to this. Listen to this.
We're really excited about raising over $100 million. Prime Trust, what we are, is the bridge between traditional financial institutions and the digital asset space. With this extended round, we can really ensure that the infrastructure we have in place grows with the market as we are seeing growth on our side.
$100 million raised, and now they're out of money completely, and they're getting a bailout. I hear that there's a bailout from BitGo on the go. BitGo, bailout from BitGo on the go. You know what I mean? BitGo on the go. We'll finalize and we'll talk about that later on today on the Twitter Spaces. Join the Twitter Spaces. It's on Mario's Twitter. We'll be live in about 12 minutes, or as soon as the show is finished. It will be live. Let's just quickly check the chances of an interest rate increase next week. Let's quickly just check. 72.4% say 72.4% say no increase. Let me know in the comments what you think, if there's going to be an increase or if there's not going to be an increase. Also, remember, I saw this. FTX plans to formally market offshore exchange through Q3 and Q4. Leaked document. I don't know if it's real, not real, but you make up your own mind. All right, so that is it for today. I want to remind you before we start talking to our community, before we get a sentiment check, this is a Friday show. Friday shows are brought to you by NordVPN. They are our channel sponsor. I've told you guys before. I'm telling you guys again. If you don't have a VPN and you're in crypto, and if you're living in the US, and you have been using DeFi protocols without a VPN, I'm going to say you're absolutely crazy because everybody knows your IP address. And it's very easy to correlate your IP address by going to one service provider and saying, that guy that logged in as Josh, his IP address was 1234567. And then they correlate that back to DeFi applications. And then they know exactly what DeFi applications you've used. And then they track you down for your tax returns and. So I know you think because you're surfing anonymously, or you're using DeFi protocols that you're surfing anonymously. You're not. Okay, get yourself a VPN. It masks your IP address. I want to just show you how simple it is because it's so simple to use. It's so okay. I just want to make sure I'm not okay. I am connected. This is actually a very good example to show you how simple it is, and to actually bust myself. Okay, so right now I'm coming to you from Vienna. Okay, so what I've done is I've actually gone to the VPN and. Hold on, let me just find my screen. Okay, see what I've done here is I've actually connected my VPN. My internet thinks I'm actually in Vienna right now. So any YouTube and any site that I'm using right now thinks that I'm in Vienna. And you can choose whatever country you want. So you can say, okay, I'm in Greece. And that way the DeFi applications think that you're coming from Greece. I also told you that, if you want to watch Formula One or you want to watch football, you can actually watch it for free by logging onto a VPN. Cost you less than $4 a month to protect your crypto and hide your IP address. If you don't do it, you're absolutely crazy. There's a link below. Do it. Support our channel. Anyway, let's go to the community. Let's meet the community. Let's see who's here, who's watching. 𝗙𝗵𝗄𝗆, how are you, my friend? 𝗙𝗵𝗄𝗆, you muted. There we go.
Hi,
how are you feeling? Is it the end of crypto?
Totally not. Totally not.
Not the end of crypto. Are you buying?
It's a good time to buy.
What are you buying?
For me, I like Solano, I like Injective, I like Tether, I like a few coins. I like Sandbox, I like a few coins.
And you're not worried that they're going to make them into securities?
No, that's just a lot of noise. I don't really believe what America says. It's just they're losing control.
And where are you from?
I'm from Belgium, but living in Barcelona for the moment.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, anyway, let's move on to somebody else just so we can get some more people on. We've got Ahad. Welcome, my friend. Where have we found you?
Sorry?
Where are you? Where in the world
I'm
are you?
based in South London.
South London. How are you feeling about the market? Are you feeling that crypto is dead?
No, crypto's not dead. There's a lot of fun in the market. If you look at, if you just Google Gary Gensler, you'll see a lot of rubbish about him. It's no way dead. It's a great time to buy.
What are you buying?
Sorry?
What are you buying? What are you buying?
Oh, I literally just bought some Render. I've got Matic. I've got Jupiter. Been following Sheldon's rules and regulations. Yeah, it's a good time to buy, to be honest.
Amazing, amazing. I'm so glad that our community is so upbeat and so positive. I had much love, my friend, much love. I'm going to bring on some more people. Stuart, welcome, my friend. How are you? Where do we find you?
Hi, yes, I'm on the Isle of Wight in the UK.
Oh, awesome. And how are you feeling? Crypto dead? Is it ever gonna recover again, or was this the last hurrah?
Well, I am feeling pretty negative about it, actually. I mean, I've got a son who is really big in this market, and you know, he's sitting on, you know, hundreds of Bitcoin, and I'm saying to him, you know, you need to probably just hedge a bit here and decide what happens, because, you know, the US is a major influencer in the world, and I'm just concerned that you know, we could, you know, we're all looking for the halving next year and perhaps, you know, going to 100K, but we may have, this may all be delayed for another 5 years if we're not careful, and that makes, you know, a lot of people a bit worried, because most people are trying to make as much money as they can, and they're really hoping that we're going to get to, you know, 50 pretty quick and then 100, and I'm not sure. I mean, I think, you know, blockchain and decentralized is the answer, but how long is it going to take, guys? So,
Stuart, first of all, I'm glad that you had the guts to come up here and say that and say that you're negative, and I think great, kudos to you. I can't give you financial advice, and I don't know what the right thing and not the right thing to do, because I don't know what percentage of your son's net worth is in crypto versus all his other assets, and I hope that he's quite responsible in the way that he's managed his affairs. I do want to highlight to you, though, that I don't believe that this is the end of the technology, and I also believe that I've seen them people call crypto dead multiple times, many times. We've called crypto dead many times, and it's always the times when people have called crypto dead have always been the best times to buy. So, not telling you what to do, not giving you any financial advice, but just saying, you know,
I actually agree with you, and I follow you, Ryan, because I think what you've created is amazing.
Thank you.
I would say that you know, blockchain technology and the whole idea of decentralized finance has to be the future for the world. My concern is that the Americans are slowing it down, which is going to make it more difficult for people to remain positive. And so more and more retail people will just leave the marketplace, and investors will not be advising their clients to invest in it, etc. So we may have to just put everything on hold for, you know, perhaps twice as long, 3 times as long as we thought. I mean, that's my worry. And I think there's a lot of people who probably are taking a risk right now.
But the bigger the risk you take, the higher the returns. And right now, when everybody's bailing out and moving to AI and jumping, if this industry works out, this is going to be a generational buying opportunity. Do you agree with me?
I totally agree. This is big news for the world, but I'm just at this moment, I just know, unfortunately, how powerful the US is. And unfortunately, a lot of the guys who are making these rules are sort of my age, buggers, you know, excuse my language, and they don't want it to happen. And I want these guys to, you know, I want Gary to, you know, be found that he has been playing it, you know, badly, and I want him to leave quickly, you know.
Don't we all? But look, remember, Gary is not actually Gary, because Gary actually probably really likes Bitcoin and blockchain, but he's acting on behalf of the people that got him the job. You know, sometimes what happens in Washington is they come to you and they say to you, look, you want this job? It's the best job ever. It's on your way up to be Treasury Secretary. And you say, yes, I want the job. And then they say to you, okay, well, look, if you want the job, this is the job that you got to get done. And you look at this job and you go, wow, I love blockchain, and you want me to ban this, ban that. Because I mean, the people that put in there is Elizabeth Warren. Like, he is a proxy for Elizabeth Warren, and she's the anti-crypto army. Now, just put yourself in Gary's shoes. I'm not protecting the guy. He's obviously got it. He was a very successful, and I think it was Goldman Sachs or one of the big banks. His aspirations are in politics. He's been at the CFTC. He's now at the SEC, and he wants to go and he wants to progress his political career. He wants to become Treasury Secretary, and then from there, who knows what he wants to become. Now, you can't go against the establishment. If these guys put you into power and they give you a job to be done, you got to get the job done, regardless about how you personally feel about the job, right? Yeah. I say that he sold his soul to the devil.
Totally agree with that. Absolutely agree. Totally.
Yeah. So listen, Stuart, first of all, much love. I really appreciate the fact that you've come on here with this view that I'm sure a lot of people have. I say again, I hope that your son has his capital allocation correct. And if he is willing to take the risk, this is probably a good time to be buying, not selling. But I mean, obviously not financial advice. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. And hopefully next time that I speak to you, next time that you come on the show, Bitcoin's at 60,000 and your son's dividends have paid off and you guys are sailing around the world on a yacht.
Fantastic. Well, Ran, you've got a fantastic show. You're doing a brilliant job. I love watching you almost every day. So keep it going, guys. I love it.
Thank you. People like you that keep me here, my friend. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. All right, let's take a few more. I see there are a couple more here. Let's quickly get them onto the show. Daniel Haruni, where have we found you, sir?
How you doing, Ran? I'm from New York.
New York. Wow, you guys.
The worst country for crypto. Not only the worst country, but the worst state. The worst state. Yes.
How are you feeling as an American? Are you demotivated? You're American. You're a voter.
I am a voter. Yes. So I am both. It is a struggle to invest. I keep on investing since a year and a half now. And, I'm a retail investor. So in the beginning, it was so difficult just to figure out how to deploy any capital because I was not allowed on Binance U.S. I'm not allowed on any exchanges. Yes, I know you can use a VPN. I know all that. But it takes time to figure that out, right? So
can I ask you? Let me ask you a few questions. Let me ask you a few questions.
Go ahead.
First of all, in total, have you made money or have you lost money in crypto? In total, be honest.
Honestly, I think I'm slightly in the negative.
Okay. Now, who did you vote for in the last elections? Democrat or Republican?
A Republican.
Who are you voting for in the next elections?
The Republican.
Would crypto change your vote?
Yes.
So if the Democrats came out and said, listen, we're going to legalize crypto and we're going to remove the New York state license that is required, would that change your vote? You're American. Be honest.
Yes, it would change my vote, but I don't think at this point I believe the Democrats, even if they say it.
I agree. Daniel, listen, sending you much love. I'm sorry that
I appreciate you guys. I watch every day. Sometimes my 13-year-old daughter is sleeping, so I had to put my headphones so to keep quiet. I listen to everything. I'm in the crypto bubbles and running a business. It's difficult.
You're in the crypto bubbles. So much love.
Crypto bubbles, yes.
Yeah,
and I DM'd you on Twitter because you mentioned Iraqi family. You come from a Iraqi family in some podcasts or sometimes. My wife is Iraqi Jewish and I'm Persian Jewish, but
She must feed you very good food if she's Iraqi Jewish. She must be an amazing cook.
Yes, she is.
If she learned from her mother. She did. Daniel, listen, brother.
Brad, thank you so much. Enjoy your weekend.
Someone who used to live in New York, sending you much love, my friend.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Let's take a few more. I'm loving meeting the fam here. Hamza, how are you, my friend?
Fine, sir. How are you?
Where are you?
I'm from Pakistan.
Are you in Pakistan now?
Yes.
Oh man, which city in Pakistan?
Yeah. I'm learning about cryptocurrency.
Are you learning? How long have you been in crypto for?
2 years.
And made money or lost money?
I made money.
Yes, man. And how long have you been watching Banter for, my friend?
I'm watching your videos from yesterday, and
Oh, okay,
currently
good.
you are. Yeah. And
Amazing.
I focused on Solana, but 2 days ago, I converted my soul to BTC. I believe on Bitcoin.
Okay, so you've become a maxi. It happens. Listen, Hamza, we're going to move on to a few others because I've got to get to Twitter Spaces.
Yeah.
Sending you much love. Sending much love to our fans in Pakistan. Let's see who else we've got here. We've got so many people here. Praveen, nice to see you, my friend.
Hi.
Where are you from?
I'm from India. My name is Praveen, and I stay in Singapore.
Oh, okay. So you're in Singapore. You're in Singapore now.
Yes, I stay in Singapore. Yes.
It's very late now. What's the time? It must be 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, it's 10:15 right now.
Amazing. How are you feeling? I mean, you're in Singapore. Singapore's got good regulations, pretty favorable. How are you feeling? Are you positive, negative? Do you think crypto is dead?
Luckily, I'm using the VPN, the other company's VPN, but then I am basically taking the Indian regulatory system. I'm having accounts in India, so it depends on what happens back home.
There we go. All right, my friend, sending you much love. I'm going to take 2 more calls before we go. Let's see who else we got here. We do have more. We have an amazing fam all over the world. We have 𝗵𝗵𝗆 Crypto. How are you, my friend?
Hey, Ran. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate your show every day, man.
Where's 𝗵𝗵𝗆 from?
Connecticut.
Connecticut. Okay, just up the road from New York. I used to visit there a lot when I lived in New York. I used to visit the beaches in Connecticut.
Yes,
How you feeling?
sir.
How are you feeling being in the States and seeing what's going on?
Optimistic. I think, as you said, this is a good time to hedge your risk, and no risk, no reward. So I'm buying Sol, I'm buying Render, I'm buying Matic, and I'm doing the decentralized way, baby.
You can't put down the Banter fan, man. We can't put it down. Listen, sending you much love, my friend. Sending you much love. I'm gonna take one more call, and then I've got to go to my Twitter Spaces. But I'm gonna see you guys all at the Twitter Spaces. Everett, how are you, my friend?
How's it going? I'm on
Where have
Crypto
we
Banter.
Where have we found you, bro?
Utah in United States.
Another American. How are you feeling being an American and everything else?
I'm buying more crypto. I don't know. I've been in crypto since Coinbase was they only had Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum on their Coinbase.
2017, 2016,
2016. Yeah, 2017. I just put like $100 in, and then I made $1,000, and then I think 2 years ago, like I kind of went all in. But we're crypto cowboys. Like the regulation isn't going to stop us, so just keep on buying. That's the whole point. It's decentralized.
But hold on, Everett, this is a big attack. I mean, this is the SEC, and they've shut down the banks.
Mm-hmm.
It's Binance, and they're going for Coinbase. I mean, this is like a serious attack, isn't it?
But what was blockchain technology made for? It so the government can't regulate us. So just buy it.
We have the best community in the world.
Yeah.
Everett, sending you much love. Listen, I'm going to jump because I have to get onto a Twitter Spaces. Sending you much love, and Banter fam, I'm sending you guys much love. It's so nice to meet the fam and just realize how cool you are, guys. I mean, it's not such a bad shirt. I don't know, or is it? I don't know. Is it that bad?
Someone said they have big birds in Cape Town.
The big birds in Cape Town. All right, man. Listen, I love you guys madly. I will see you guys on the weekend if anything happens, if there's anything to report. Otherwise, I'll see you on the Twitter Spaces. I'm jumping onto the Twitter Spaces right now. It's on Mario Norfol's Twitter Spaces. So yeah, we will see you guys again soon. Until then, have fun and trade well, my friends.